Super quickly before I start the video, I just want to announce that I've launched my very first line of merch. I've got some pretty cool shirts, one designed by moi. All purchases go towards supporting the channel, but it also means you'll get a super comfy shirt out of it too. The link to the shop will be in the description. Iyashikei is one of my favourite genres, and autumn is my favourite season. There's just something about reading a chill manga whilst listening to the rain that feels perfect. So here are some autumnal recommendations, not all strictly Iyashikei, but all ideal for winding down and getting cozy. Witch Hat Atelier Kitchen is a spin-off that trades the grand mysteries of the main series for something quieter, but just as beautifully captivating. Here, food, family and comfort take precedence. It's like a mixture of the Great British Bake Off meets today's menu for the Emiya family. Ironically, another slice of life cooking spin-off. Written and illustrated by Hirayasumi Sato under the supervision of Shirahama Kamome, the art style is slightly different, mainly in the character designs, but it still captures the whimsical feel of the original series. You don't technically need to have read Witch Hat Atelier to enjoy this, but honestly, you'd be missing out if you haven't. What makes Kitchen special is how it lets the characters breathe. In most high-stakes fantasy, you rarely get a chance to truly wind down without breaking the narrative pacing. Kitchen fills that gap. It's like kicking your shoes off after a long day. The pressure just floats away. And magic here isn't a shortcut. Just like in the main series, it can assist, but it can't replace effort. Meals still require labour and love, with spells only helping in place of modern tools. Though imagining Orugyo or Kifuri wrestling with a blender or air fryer is hilarious. But that detail makes the food feel grounded, even as it sparkles with fantasy charm. Each chapter even ends with ingredient lists, so you can try recreating the meals yourself. At its heart, this is about Kifuri and Orugyo acting like parents to their 4 daughters, showing a softer side that fans adore. Trust me, the husband activity in this series is off the charts. Does this manga need to exist? No, but am I glad it does? Absolutely. Aria of the Beech Forest by Yugiri Aika is one of those manga where the environment alone makes you feel instantly cozy. Imagine curling up in an extravagant treehouse or a small woodland cottage with untouched snow falling outside the window, while you sip tea and let the quiet wrap around you. That's the kind of atmosphere this series captures. The story follows Aria, a young witch living in solitude after her grandmother's passing. Witches are meant to remain hidden, but her world changes when a hungry wolf named Gwyn stumbles into her life. She takes him in for the winter, and what unfolds is a quaint, comedic slice-of-life story full of found family sweetness. And it's set in Ireland, which is a nice change of pace, especially with Irish foods like barmbrack getting the spotlight. Despite Aria looking and behaving like she belongs to a traditional fantasy world, the story actually takes place in modern times, with kitchen appliances hilariously bewitching her. Most of the humour comes from poking fun at her lack of magical skill, and her father-daughter-like dynamic with Gwyn, who often cracks sly little asides or observations about her that feel like jokes between him and the reader. Also, the concept of Ryanair existing in a manga is just super funny to me, no idea why. Jess Glynn finally has her competition. Between inviting meals that make you want to cook along, laugh out loud moments, and a genuinely sweet exploration of connection, Aria of the Beech Forest is as comforting as it gets. And speaking of comfort, this video is sponsored by Manta Sleep, who makes some of the comfiest eye masks for naps or a full night's sleep. Manta Sleep are all about helping you rest better and get the sleep you need to boost energy, focus, and productivity. Their masks are completely blackout, incredibly soft, and designed to adjust perfectly to your face, whether through the easy adjustable strap and eye cups, the cups of which are also removable. As someone who watches videos or listens to music to fall asleep, one of my biggest annoyances is losing a wireless earbud, or worse, getting tangled in wired ones, when I wake up. With Manta's Sound Sleep Mask, you've got built-in Bluetooth earphones that stay in place all night, and yes, they're adjustable too. It's USB-C rechargeable, and you can even swap out the eye cups. The standard pair blocks out all light, But there are also cooling ice cups with gel beads that give instant relief for headaches, allergies or puffiness. Just pop them in the freezer for a bit and attach them to your mask. They're made from moisture wicking fabric so they stay soft and dry, never sticky or damp. There's a whole range to choose from: the classic, pro, silk, steam, weighted and cool manta sleep masks. You can buy the eye cups separately if you like mixing and matching. So if you struggle to sleep, travel a lot or just love a good nap, check out the link in the description to see the full lineup and use my code LIONS at the checkout for 10% off your order. A huge thank you to Manta Sleep for sponsoring this video. They've genuinely helped with my sleeping problems, so I couldn't be happier to recommend them. Ruri Dragon is a unique manga from Jump. There's no real high stakes, no power scaling, no life or death stakes. Instead, it's quiet yet resonant. Ruri is just a normal girl until one morning she wakes up with horns growing out of her head. Pop a Camp Half-Blood shirt on her and she'd slot right into Percy Jackson. The funny part, something the series thrives on, is how casually everyone reacts to it. Teachers stress about safety forms, classmates treat the horns like a new haircut, the clinic insinuates they've treated dragons before. It's peak, what the hell, sure. And once you tune into that tone, it becomes part of the charm. Like, straight off the bat you have to accept that Ruri's human mom and her dragon dad somehow, well, yeah. The story frames Ruri's dragon traits as a friendly metaphor for puberty. Teens spiral about insecurities, assume everyone's staring, and feel nervous about bodily changes. That relatability is the heart of the manga. You can tell the manga was written by a Gen Z mangaka because it just feels accurately young. The comedy, especially between Ruri and her mom, is quick, snappy, and perfectly deadpan. The kids yap, like, really yap. Most pages are filled with dialogue all about nothing and everything at once. And Caleb cooked with the translations, finding suitable phrases that capture the way teenagers speak. What makes Ruri Dragon special is how easy it is to read. You don't need to think too hard, you can just go with the flow as Ruri and her friends adapt to her new dragon quirks. Fire breathing, fast healing, electrical discharges, and more. It's cozy, funny, and quietly affirming. Small stakes, big feels, and the nicest kind of strange. A perfect recommendation for younger readers, or anyone who just wants something warm and different from the usual Jump fare. Satoko and Nada, if the title didn't give it away, follows Satoko, a Japanese college student, and Nada, a Saudi Arabian student, as they share a room together while studying in America. What you get is this really wholesome slice of life about two women learning from each other's cultures and lifestyles whilst building a supportive, funny friendship. The series does a great job of introducing readers to Muslim traditions and practices. There are chapters that explain clothing like the niqab, hijab, and burqa, as well as everyday practices like eating halal. It's always framed positively and respectfully. The manga shows Nada practicing her faith with joy and devotion, for example describing Ramadan not as a hardship, but as a time of spiritual reflection, which helps push back on misconceptions, particularly about Muslim women. It's genuinely humorous at times, but never in a way that belittles either woman's culture. Instead, the laughs come from small misunderstandings, like Nada explaining how the katakana of su is used in emoticons as a smiley, or Satoko realising firsthand that buses in America don't stop unless you put your hand out. The art style is simple, but with a hand-drawn feel that adds to its charm. That roughness gives it warmth, perfectly suiting the everyday slice of life atmosphere. It's not about big plot twists, just these small everyday adventures of two friends navigating cultural differences with openness and humour, and that makes it really special. I've always thought of Hirayasumi as the younger sibling of Skip and Loafer. Both have that same gentle, cosy tone that makes you feel safe and warm, but where Skip and Loafer focuses on high school life, Hirayasumi follows two adults navigating quiet paths. Hirata, a 29-year-old who inherits a house, and Natsumi, his 18-year-old distant cousin who moves in while attending college. Hirayasumi frames happiness in such a tender way. Hirata isn't chasing some grand adventure, a high-powered career, or a long checklist of achievements that people expect by his age. He's content with the simple things: a warm meal, a comfortable home, and a few friendships that really matter. For him, Even something as small as standing on a bridge at night, taking in the view, can feel like enough. That's something Natsume gradually learns to appreciate too, as she's caught up in the expectations of youth. That simplicity doesn't mean the story lacks emotion, by any means. The series begins with Hirata losing the grandmotherly figure who welcomed him with home-cooked meals. Her passing shapes the path forward and sets the tone for the manga's mix of warmth and serenity. With soft watercolour pages and an easygoing rhythm, Hirayasumi is a beautiful Iyashikei story about finding contentment in the everyday. Soara and the House of Monsters begins with a playful twist. Soara, a girl who had been training her whole life to become a warrior, finds the human-monster war abruptly over on the very day she's meant to join the battle. Everything she prepared for is useless, and she's left adrift. Wandering without purpose, she chances upon a group of dwarves known as the Monster Architects, who travel the land designing homes for creatures once seen only as enemies. Curious, she lingers, observes their work, and slowly gets drawn into it herself. The premise is genuinely touching. If everyone deserves a roof over their head, what does that mean when your clients are dragons, slimes, or harpies? The series takes this seriously, digging into the biology and culture of each species. Cold or warm-blooded, diet, size, weight, habits, all shape the homes they need. Architecture here isn't just aesthetics, but thoughtful accommodation. Even creatures often depicted as cruel or monstrous are treated as clients with specific needs. Introduced through clever before and after spreads, charming cutaway illustrations, and isometric diagrams. For Soara, who once feared and hated these beings, travelling with the architects becomes a journey of healing. Homeless and purposeless, she slowly finds belonging among them, learning that home isn't only a building, but the people you choose as family. Hakumei Mikochi is a manga that feels like a quiet exhale. It follows Hakumei, energetic and willing to pounce at the next adventure, and Mikochi, gentle and practical, as they live in a forest world where humans are only a few inches tall. Rather than focusing on big drama or battles, the series highlights the beauty of the everyday. Cooking meals, fixing tools, visiting markets, or meeting neighbours, both human and animal. What makes it stand out is the sense of scale. Ordinary objects exist as enormous landmarks. A single walnut serves as a bowl, a beetle can act as transport, and a bird is large enough to ride. This playful perspective makes their world feel alive and immersive. The art is equally captivating, cozy and rounded in its character designs, yet intricately detailed when it comes to nature and architecture. It's genuinely overlooked for its visuals alone, and its double-page spreads rank amongst the most beautiful manga has to offer. At its heart, the series is about friendship and community. Hakumei and Mikochi balance each other out perfectly, and their bond gives warmth to every quiet moment. If you're looking for a manga that slows down time and lets you savour gentle storytelling, Hakumei Mikochi is like curling up under a blanket with tea, cozy, comforting, and full of charm. Hey guys, thanks for watching to the end of the video. As always, I want to give a shout out to Manta Sleep for sponsoring this video. I've been using one of their masks for quite a while because I genuinely do use their products. I listen to music all the time falling asleep, so I could not approve of them enough. Also, for the very first time on the channel, I actually didn't edit this video. I mean, I edited bits and bobs, but I didn't do the entire thing. A lot of that goes to Armin, and I'll put his link in the description. He has his own channel and he also does editing for other people. But for manga recommendations videos, just to keep the workload a little bit easier for myself now, I am probably going to be getting Armin to edit these videos. He tried to match my editing as much as possible and I really appreciate that. He also did it very quickly, which I also really appreciate, but it'll mean that I can focus on other videos, the ones that I'm going to be editing a lot more and focusing on a bit more, whilst Armin does the manga recommendation videos. Because I've noticed in the comments, not too many people really comment on the manga animations when it comes to the manga recommendation videos, and I'll be honest, they take so long to do that I think the manga recs are something that people have on in the background as opposed to actually watching them. So yeah, it just made sense for me to give these videos off to somebody else who can edit still amazingly, but it puts the workload off of myself. And it also means you get videos faster, get more videos in general, and yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If there are any recommendations that you ended up reading, ended up really enjoying, be sure to let me know in the comments, or if there's just any that have your interest, also let me know in the comments. And with that, I will be with you very, very soon with the next video.